Hey everybody, in this video, 2 tips on the benefits of personal development in developing intuition or mediumship.
So for those of you that do not know us yet, I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
From ZenRoseGarden.com.
Yes. Helping people create
badass life. Yes. As you guys come on, please say hello in the comments. We'd love to see who is watching with us. And if you would, stay to the end because we have our weekly winner and some announcements to help take your badass life to the next level.
Absolutely. So if you're watching live, give us a hashtag #LiveTribe.
If you're watching replay, give us a hashtag replay fam. Yes, I see Matthew and Chelsea and Ryan coming on to join us. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
And what is up, Ashley and Deb? Laura, thanks for joining us.
And let's get to it. So
we got a lot to cover today, so we're just going to jump right in.
We're going to do what we do. So let's talk about this topic. This is very important and dear to our practice, dear to our practice.
Dear to our practice.
Dear to us. So in the niche of personal development, we find
psychic development.
In psychic development.
In both.
That's what I meant to say. In the niche of psychic development, which is kind of our niche. We find that the importance of personal development when it comes to developing intuition is very often neglected.
And today we're going to discuss the benefits of personal development to a grounded, centered, and well-rounded life, a complete life, not just one piece or part of it, as you're working on increasing your intuition, your psychic development, your mediumship development, any range of psychic abilities, or learning the beginning to advanced mediumship training.
And this is very important. And if those of you are online with us right now that have worked with us in the past, you know the benefits of it. It just makes you better. So today's topic is a question because we like to, that's why we ask you questions. We like to know what you need to know. So today's topic is a question from one of our viewers. I put it up on my screen. Let me just read it to you. So this question is from Samantha of Minnesota, if you're listening. It says, I want to thank you guys for your video last week on becoming a medium later in life. I have recently started opening up my gifts, but it feels like so many things in my life are falling away, like friends, relationships, and the fear I am experiencing. I feel like I want to share what I have with others, but I try and people look at me like I'm crazy. Now I stay away because I feel like I am being judged.
So if this sounds like you, then you're in the right place. If this sounds like something familiar, something that you've ever gone through, so let's help Samantha. We want to know if you've had any similar experiences and what you did to balance your normal life with your intuitive development.
Right. What did you do or are you striving to do to balance your normal life with that spiritual opening, that intuitive development?
Let us know in the comments.
And we find that this is a struggle for people. So let's quickly get into and cover some of the reasons why you might feel like you're living in an altered reality once you start developing your intuition, and why it might be difficult to toggle between the two worlds of spiritual experience and human reality.
Then we're going to go into some action items to help you enjoy your life while you're expanding.
So
I
feel like you were going to sell me a car just now. You were like,
And then, but wait, that's not all. If you act right now, your life is going to be badass.
I mentioned David used to act on Shakespeare. He's like, oh. Oh God, he's going to hold the skull out. The spiritual opening or the process of simply expanding your intuitive awareness is a very personal, internal, and very subjective thing. So when we're having our own internal experiences, sometimes it's hard to realize other people aren't seeing what you're seeing.
Or to communicate on a level where they might understand what you're going through. So no one in this world experiences things like you do or sees the world as you do.
So the spiritual or intuitive experience can be very difficult to explain to other people.
And this goes even for others who have had deep experiences or similar experiences. You may not be able to convey the information that's in your head or the experiences that you've had, even with people who have gone through deep experiences themselves.
And this can make you feel a little bit alienated, which is kind of what we're going to talk about. So however,
we're going to talk about aliens today.
Alienated.
Oh,
David. Okay. So, however, you are a whole person in one body that has a soul and a physical existence, and you're here to enjoy this life as a human, regardless of your spiritual path and what's going on. That's part of your whole experience as a human.
right. And one of the other big things to realize is that as a human, you have chosen to incorporate all of these things together. That's one of the biggest missions of being human, is to take the spiritual experiences, the psychic experiences, the mental experiences, the emotional experiences, and kind of get them all working on the same team and getting them all working together. That's when you experience inner peace. So is when you got it all working together.
Let's go through and see if you've guys have any. Let's see.
We don't see things as they are. We see things as we are.
Right. Okay.
From Anais Nin. Thanks, Kimberly.
Yep.
Ryan says, being a psychic medium is part of me, so got rid of people who didn't accept me for who I am. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Hey, David, thanks for joining us. Let's see. Lisa, thanks for joining us. Courtney says, I accepted the change because everyone isn't there yet. Letting go was hard, but well needed. Lighter is better.
Okay, and
that's awesome.
And these are kind of common things that we hear, and that we've all gone through when we're going through this shift. That is really an internal shift, but our external world, people are going on their paths, and we can fall into some traps.
Right. And I did also want to let you know that if you do have any comments while you're watching this, put them in the comments. Even if we don't get to them, or you're watching on the replay, we will go back and we will check the comments, and we will give you some guidance and insight there.
So let's get to some personal development actions that can help you balance these two worlds. Yeah. Things you might not have thought of. So personal development benefit number one is self-awareness.
Often people, when we're just working on developing intuition or mediumship or just psychic development, without the personal development to ground us, we end up losing touch with our self-awareness.
So self-awareness is key to personal development, and it also benefits our psychic intuitive gifts because it helps us relate to other people.
Right.
Because when you're developing your gifts, there's an expression of preaching to the choir. You can be in your own closed group of magical people and you understand each other, but somebody coming in isn't from that world or your subjective spiritual reality and is seeking help. So if you can't speak to them and stay connected to different groups of people, it's very difficult to share your gifts with people that actually might need them. So also remembering you're one person in one body. So neglecting the work of mental and emotional stability while working on your gifts can often be a recipe for disaster. You become more and more disconnected instead of more connected.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about some of the challenges with letting people drop away from your life, people that don't understand you anymore. In personal development benefit number two
is better relationships. So more fulfilling relationships, that's what the outcome of personal development provides for you. The outcome of working on your own self-growth, personal development, is that the relationships that you have in your life become more full and fulfilling.
The relationships are life. Our relationships make up our lives, primarily our relationship with ourselves, and then the relationships that spin out from them. But let's talk about our relationships, and because that's primarily what we're talking about today. So we often hear people say that the previous people in their lives don't understand them anymore. And this may be true as you meet new people and old relationships shift. You meet new people that come in that understand you better, but there's still people that have been in your life that there can be some conflict from. Sometimes they're really toxic and we have to let them fall away, and that's okay. But often we see people that don't see their part in what is happening.
Right.
I mean, I've fallen prey to this too. So I'm not, speaking from non-experience.
Because as we get into developing gifts, which are really cool, okay? Gifts, psychic gifts, opening, knowing something that a lot of people don't know is a very cool experience because you're kind of evolving into a bigger and better you, which is a great experience. Sometimes when we get into that moment where we see the relationships as different, or they start changing, or we start changing, or people don't see us the way that they saw us before, or they don't see us as we are now, sometimes we begin to lack empathy and understanding for others who don't see the world as we're beginning to. And then we start to reverse judge the people that we think are judging us for being different.
I see this happening, and it's kind of a funny thing, because we come into a spiritual awakening and we think we're not judging people, but actually we're reverse judging them for judging us for being different.
Right.
So we have to be careful of those kinds of things, and this is why personal development is important while you're unfolding, because you can catch yourself in those little traps, like, oh, I just did what they did to me, I did it back to them.
Right.
So we often see people doing this and causing division, where division among people is not warranted. And like I said, if they're toxic people in your life, if they're dangerous people in your life, that's okay to let them fall away. But we often see people rejecting relationships for the wrong reasons.
Right.
So
as human beings, we need diversity to remain resilient, open-minded, and creative. So having that diversity is going to expand and help your gifts by meeting people where they're at, and stop trying to get them to see you where you're at.
So in our lives, it's important to be parts of a variety of groups of people. So sometimes when we're going to a spiritual path, we kind of stick into our clique and let those other groups fall away. But that kind of keeps us resilient. So being in different groups of people and understanding where they're from keeps us open to new ideas. It keeps us non-judgmental, so we don't fall into that trap, and prevents us from being closed-minded and fundamentalist or dogmatic in any one area of our lives, because we can just make a parallel move from an old dogmatic system to a new system that seems to be resilient and spiritual, but we become fundamentalist within that. Does that make sense to you guys? I hope so.
Let us know in the comments. Also, keeping in mind that the more data points that you have, we're talking just from a strictly mental growth perspective, the more data points that you have that are different, the bigger picture you can see. Think about that for a minute.
So the reason I say that we can become fundamentalist even in a spiritual system that's supposedly open-minded is because we stagnate in that one pond of people, and any system that is closed begins to stagnate. I don't care what it is. And if you don't work on your stuff from one system to another system, or one group of people to another group of people,
you bring your baggage over,
and you don't work on that personal development, eventually that system breaks down for you because you haven't worked on your foundation.
And then eventually what's going to happen if you don't work on your stuff is you become disheartened and disillusioned with this new thing that was cool for a while, but because you brought your baggage with you and didn't unpack it, it's going to start unpacking itself, and you're going to see the same thing that you ran away from over here emerging over here. So work on your shit.
So what we often see is people making parallel moves from one system to another system, looking for the magic pill.
Right.
Like we see it often from organized religion. They get very disheartened with that because it becomes fundamentalist in some regard. Then they jump over to spiritual or metaphysical, and then think that's the magic pill, but don't work on the deep personal development. Then that becomes disheartening after a while, and then they make the jump back. So we see people pond jumping without actually going deep into the water. So this is why it's important, because you can only develop your spiritual awareness to a point if you're not working on that stuff. So when you start working on that stuff, you can expand and grow more and more because you don't have those heavy weights underneath.
And it's going to make your development and your unfolding so much more fulfilling. Okay. So I did also want to say what's up to Deanna, to Amanda, and to Jennifer. Thank you guys for joining us. It's great to see you here. We know that you can be doing anything else, and the fact that you're here, thank you.
So now we got a bonus tip for you. How do you know how to start working on your personal development and what to start working on in your personal development?
And time where it's time to ask some hard questions.
So is the reason that you're feeling rejected or judged by this group of people coming from a deeper unresolved core wound around feeling rejected, and maybe even an old program of victim mentality, like they're rejecting me? So look at those things, because as they come up as you're developing, and they will come up, this is what we're talking about. It's not that hard to pinpoint.
Right. And the thing to realize is that often the self-growth work that you need to do, it shows up anyway, and it shows up especially in your reactions. But a lot of times it's easier to just slip it into a safer story around it and kind of bypass the work that you need to do. It's called personal ownership, personal responsibility of your experience.
So an example of a safe story you might create around that rejection or that perceived rejection is they don't understand me anymore, when in fact that might not always be the case. You're just kind of causing your own division. So like I said, I'm not talking about the toxic people that you really do in your life that are dysfunctional, that you need to let follow. I'm not talking about those people, because we all, as we evolve spiritually and as we explore our gifts, we are going to become more aware of those toxic people, and it's okay to let them fall away. It's when becoming aware of where we are causing the division by reverse judging the people that we think are judging us. So,
or overly needing that sense of acceptance outside of ourselves.
Right. So I think
that's a big one.
So I think these are things to like be aware of as you are growing, because they will come up, and this is the work of self-development, self-growth. So, and they go hand in hand. We don't believe that they are separate, and they shouldn't be.
Right, because we're one person and we're working on ourself as a whole.
Right. Okay. Hope that makes sense, you guys. I think it's really...
Let us know in the comments if you've got any questions about anything that this has brought up for you. Let us know in the comments and we'll get back to you.
So we just talked about a little bit about the benefits of personal development in developing your intuition and mediumship. We've been working on creating this other option to help you guys on your journey with that.
Right. So if you're ready to learn more, we do have some options. If you're ready to learn more, if you're readily available, if you're ready to work on it, we've got some options. In our work, we've coached private clients for the past 11 years, but wanted to bring what we do to even more people. So we created a twofold path for you to start working with us deeper today, conveniently online.
So if, like we said, if you want to truly master your gifts as well as your life, self-growth and developing your intuition go hand in hand. Even if your goal is not to pursue a career in the intuitive arts, your intuition is an important part of making the right decisions in your life.
So we've created this twofold path to help you do just that.
So first we've got Zen Ed Self-Growth Academy, which some of you online are members of. Raise your hand if you're in, where we teach our professional grade intuitive mastery courses. Right now we're in the middle of the Medium Survival Guide, which is 20 classes. And as well, to supplement that, we have 12 expert self-growth teachers that support classes throughout the month and ongoing support with new live classes every month. What we love about our platforms is all the replays are available. So if you miss something, you can go back and watch. Right.
And second, we've got our monthly group coaching masterclass where we go deep diving into different mental and emotional mastery and healing. February, we're going to be starting with our life purpose, getting deep and vulnerable into 5 hours of intense group coaching with guided meditations and all of the replay masterclasses from before. And you can either do any of these groups separately, or you can get our membership,
We have an all access pass.
It's an all access pass for the membership.
Yes, so you can do them part one or the other, or you can do them both as a package, which you save a lot of money doing that way. If you're not ready for that, we've always got our free Badass Life boot camp group where you get free self-growth tips and resources every week. You want to get to know us before you do one of our groups, please come into that, and we play in there and have a lot of... Click the link in the description to get started if that option works for you. But now we've got a couple gifts for you. We've got our weekly PDF download that is free. You don't have to put in your email or anything. You don't go on, you're fine. With that the steps.
Yeah, that covers what we just talked about. The link is in the description.
And we have one 3-month winner for a 3-month pass to Zen Ed Self-Growth Academy, the first group we talked about.
And that is Justine Palencia. Yes. You are our VIP winner for the 3 months to Zen Ed Self-Growth Academy. I will be reaching out to you and connecting and giving you that information on how to get set up there.
So congratulations, Justine.
Absolutely.
So if you guys like this video, hit the like button.
If this video helped you in any way, be sure to share it with a friend.
If you guys have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear those, because that's how we create new videos for you. Put them in the comments.
for more badass life tips.
Be sure to subscribe.
And click the bell to turn notifications on.
So you're the first to know
when we drop a new video
or go live.
And we know that your time is valuable and precious. And the fact that you've chosen to spend that with us, as well as to spend that with yourself, developing your intuition, developing your psychic skills, whatever it is, working on you is absolutely appreciated. And we thank you for spending that time with us. So thanks for watching. Have an amazing day.
We'll see you guys in the next video.